What's up, guys? So in today's episode I'm going to be installing a cooktop, one of those that actually sits on a counter. Normally these cooktops are very easy to install because all you gotta do is take the old one out, put the new one in, connect the gas line underneath, check for leaks, and you're good to go. So I don't really charge that much money for these. And as you can see over here, I was a little confident because I measured the cooktop and it measured just the same as the new one. But there was a little difference in size, and you will see that in just a minute. But anyways, so the way you do this is, in order to take it off, it's very easy. All you gotta do is get a knife and just cut the silicone that whoever installed it put underneath the cooktop, and that will release the cooktop from the counter. And you can literally lift it just like I did here. The previous person just literally just put a little bead of silicone and not much was holding it. But obviously before you pull it out, you need to disconnect the gas line underneath. Now what I always do is normally the gas lines are always good, so I try to reuse them because they're not cheap. And this one though was almost new, only 2 years old, but the homeowner didn't like the existing cooktop, so he wanted to replace it with a new one. So what I'm doing here, I'm just detaching all the old connections from the old one and reusing it on the new one. I'm using gas Teflon taping here and pipe sealant meant for gas as well. I use both just to be safe. But the only thing that I'm reusing is just the gas line. The actual gas valve, the new cooktop comes with, so you don't have to reuse that. Another thing to keep in mind when doing these types of installations is you need to make sure if you're actually going to be hooking it up to propane or natural gas, because the gas valve that I'm actually installing right now, you can see, has a little set screw on the inside, and you need to make sure that it's pointing the right way if it's going to be natural gas or propane. So this one here was actually set for propane by the homeowners. It was actually natural gas, so it's very easy to actually change. All you gotta do is just read instructions and undo a screw and just turn the little set screw on the inside, upside down, and you're good to go. Just follow the instructions. It's super simple to do. You just gotta, you know, pay attention to that. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just connecting the valve and gas line, and always make sure to use either Teflon tape meant for gas or pipe dope meant for gas. So thankfully, dealing with gas is not a big deal because it's such a low psi that it's extremely hard to get a leak unless you just screw it up. I've never had an issue, but it's never a bad thing to just play it safe and just do a good job. So here I'm switching the gas valve from propane to gas, and all you gotta do is there's like a little screw on the inside or piece of plastic you can see right there, and all you gotta do is just flip it upside down. Now let's say you forget. How can you tell if you need to actually fix it? Well, when you turn the knob and the flame comes on, it's not gonna be accurate to this the adjustment on the knob, so you can put it on max and then the flame's gonna be super low. That's gonna be one of the main signs that's going to tell you that you need to do what I'm doing right now. If you forget, especially if this is the first time doing something like this. Another thing to keep in mind is um, the gas orifices. You will see later in the video, you also have to make sure you use the ones that are either for gas or propane. I will show you later what's that all about. So here I'm ready to be almost done, and then I'm just setting the new cooktop on the counter, and for whatever reason it's not going in. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I'm like measuring, I'm like, it's measuring the same as the old one, why is it not going in? And then I realized the actual bottom of the insert, it's literally quarter-inch bigger than the old one. And I was like, jeez, man, because I thought it was gonna be a quick job, an hour or less, and now I'm gonna have to cut the counter. And cutting the counter is no big deal, especially if it's a laminate wood, particle board. But this counter was, it was not wood, it was quartz. So it's just like cutting granite. So I was like, god damn. Anyways, guys, this is gonna happen. It's no big deal. So if you want to find out how much I'm charging for this job, well, stick to the end and I'll let you know how much I charge for this one and how much I would have charged if I had known I needed to cut the counter. But anyway, so what I'm doing here is anytime that you cut granite or anything else, always put some masking tape. It will prevent the counter from cracking or chipping off as you're cutting it. And I'm just measuring quarter-inch. That's it, because that's literally all I need. Now, all the tools that you see in the video, you can actually find the affiliate links in the description if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the stuff that you see in the video, such as the masking tape, the T-square that I'm using, the diamond blade that I'm going to be using, the grinder that I'm using, all that good stuff. But anyways, so just mask the area. Make sure you measure a million times, because this is a one-time deal, guys. Once you start cutting, that's it. You mess something up here, this is going to cost you a lot of money to fix. This is not something that you can fix very easily. So you just got to make sure you measure right a million times, and then once you've measured enough and you think you're good to go, then you can start cutting. So how are you going to cut this on the spot? Well, there are many different ways to cut granite or quartz, and the way I do it personally is I use a grinder, and then I just use a diamond blade on the grinder, and that's it, and I go slow. Now the main problem you're gonna have when cutting stone in general is gonna be dust. So unfortunately I'm having to do this indoors, so the only other solution that I can do is to have my shop vac right next to my grinder as I'm cutting it to suck the dust in. I have no other choice. I was not planning on cutting any counters today, otherwise there's an attachment that you can connect to your grinder and then hook it up directly to your vacuum, but I did not have it with me, so I had to make do with what I had, and that is just getting the vacuum and then somehow just taping the hose nearby to where I'm cutting to suck the dust in. I tried doing that at the beginning, but as you're gonna be seeing in a few minutes, it just did not work out well, but it is what it is. Once I start cutting, I like to start at the ends, just like you see on the video right now. And I'm having issues with just the hose not staying put, so it just didn't work out. So I had to literally hold it with one hand and just hold the grinder with the other. I don't recommend it, because if the grinder kicks back and you're not holding it well, you you can cause an accident that way. But anyways, I start at the ends and then just cut slow. It will cut very easily. It's no big deal, but it's just gonna make a lot of noise and a lot of dust. But as you can see, I have my hose right next to it, sucking all the dust out. But anyways, just slow, follow the line, and then don't go in all at once. Just make small cuts. Especially your first pass, go all the way down, and then once you know you gotta a line that you can follow, then you can go ahead and just go all the way through. But at the beginning, I don't recommend going all the way through. Just go slow. Once I got done cutting the ends, there were little chunks that I was just not too sure about cutting them with the grinder wheel. So I used a diamond plated sander just to finish off the corners, just to make sure that they're really smooth. You can use the grinder wheel if you wanted to. I just wanted to play it safe. So here, as you can see, I'm all done. The cut came straight, and I'm just cleaning up now. So even though I was running the vacuum, as you can see, the vacuum was not able to suck all the dust out. It's just a lot. So, but thankfully, it was just mainly around the counter, sink area. I mean range top area. So it didn't really get other, any further away. So, but yeah, ideally, you want to make sure that you use a vacuum for sure, because if you didn't, the entire kitchen will be full of dust. Now, if I had to make a bigger cut, like if I actually had to cut the counter to fitting a cooktop like this from scratch, I would have put plastic over everything, and probably built a little plastic room just to hold the dust in. But anyway, so right now I'm getting the new cooktop, and then I'm just putting it in. And as you can see, it fits right in. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I was happy. Everything came out well. No issues at all. No cracking, no chipping. So everything just I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. At this time, just clean up and just put some silicone underneath the cooktop to hold it in place, and then connect the gas line underneath and the power cord. Alright, so here I'm connecting the gas line. I'm just putting some Teflon tape, meant for gas, always. And then, as always, I also use pipe sealant right over it. Just a small amount. You don't need to go crazy about it. Um, and that's it. So after that, just need to screw in the gas line and test for leaks. The easiest way and fastest way to test for leaks is to just spray soapy water on the connections. Make sure you spray everything and then turn the gas line on and look for bubbles. If you don't see any, that means you don't have any leaks. And I always make sure, and I double, triple, quadruple check, and I even wait, several minutes and check again just to make sure there are no leaks, because you do not want to have a gas leak. So here I'm testing the burners, just make sure they all work. One thing that I forgot to mention or actually show was changing the orifices. So the burners themselves, right in the middle, they have like a little orifice picture on the screen right now. And if you have propane or if you have gas, you have to make sure you use the right one. Cooktops, most of them come with both propane and gas, so you just gotta make sure you screw it in the one that you actually need. So for this one was gas, and it came pre-installed for propane, so I had to take the old ones out and put the new ones in. And like I said, if you forget, at this time when you actually are checking the burners, you will actually see the flames are gonna be like not linked to the knobs that you're turning. So if you put it on high, you're gonna get a low flame, or vice versa. You can put it on low and then you're gonna get a super high flame. But yeah, if it's not looking right, the first thing you need to look at is the orifices and the valve underneath the cooktop, where you need to get the plastic piece or set screw and flip it upside down. So now that I'm done, the last thing to do is to just put some silicone underneath the cooktop to make sure it doesn't move around. You don't need to go crazy about it, just make sure that you seal it really well, so that way if there is ever a spill, it's not going to get underneath the cooktop. So, and that will also keep it in place. Clean it up and you are good to go. Now for those of you wondering how much I charge for this job, well, I charge $200, and it took me about 2 hours. Normally a job like this would have taken me less than 1 hour easily, but I had to cut the counter. When I gave him the quote over the phone, I did not account for cutting the counter because he told me he measured and I was not going to need to cut the counter. So if I had known I was going to need to cut the counter, then I would have probably charged $350 for this installation. Price is going to differ depending on the area where you live, so just keep that in mind. That is the going price for my area. Now all that's left is just clean up and we are done. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video so that way it gets recommended to other people, and if you have any questions, comment below, and I will see you next time. Yeah.
It closed, and she was soup. She was literally soup. And, the water was like 110, which is really high for a jacuzzi.
Wow. Oh, it was still running?
Yeah, oh yeah, she started boiling.
Man, she was like broth, man.
Yeah. So when the OMB and I were pulling her out, I grabbed her arm and it just slid off like your barbecue rib.